Chapter 12, Planning for the Future. Section 1. Opening the Wisdom Frequency. Welcome back to the Wisdom Lab on NovaLogos Audio English. We've spent the last few chapters building our internal character, our self-discipline, our willingness to listen, and our uncompromising integrity. Today, we apply those internal virtues to the horizon of time. We are exploring Chapter 12, Planning for the Future. In the modern world, we often swing between two unhealthy extremes. On one side, there is the anxious overplanner who tries to control every variable of the future, losing their peace in the process. On the other side, there is the passive dreamer who lives only for today, ignoring the responsibilities of tomorrow. Wisdom, however, invites us to a middle path, a life of diligent preparation combined with radical trust. It teaches us that while we cannot control the future, we are strictly responsible for how we prepare for it. Our foundational principle for this chapter comes from the book of Proverbs, chapter 6, verses 6 to 8. Go to the ant, O sluggard, consider her ways, and be wise. Without having any chief, officer, or ruler, she prepares her bread in summer and gathers her food in harvest. The ant does not wait for a crisis to act. She has the foresight to work when the sun is shining so she can survive when the frost comes. Today, we will learn how to cultivate this ant wisdom, discovering that true peace tomorrow is built by the quiet, consistent actions of today. Section 2. The verses. Wisdom in multi-angles. To plan wisely is to honor the gift of time. Let's look at the necessity of calculating the cost, as described in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 14, verse 28. For which of you, desiring to build a tower, does not first sit down and count the cost, whether he has enough to complete it? Wisdom is not impulsive. It sits down before it builds. It measures resources, time, and energy. This isn't a lack of faith. It is a form of stewardship. To start something without the intention or the preparation to finish it is, in the eyes of wisdom, a failure of character. Now, let's look at the protective nature of foresight in Proverbs, chapter 22, verse 3. The prudent sees danger and hides himself, but the simple go on and suffer for it. The prudent, the wise planner, uses their imagination to foresee potential risks. They don't just hope for the best. They prepare for the difficult. Planning is essentially the act of hiding yourself from future suffering by making wise choices in the present. Finally, we must balance our diligence with the reality of divine providence. Look at Proverbs chapter 16, verse 9. The heart of man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps. This is the anchor verse for all planning. We are given the dignity of the plan, the heart's intention, but we must leave the steps, the actual outcome, to the Lord. Wisdom is the ability to hold a pen in one hand to write the plan and an eraser in the other to accept the divine revision. Section 3. Modern Scenarios. Wisdom in the Wild. How do we apply the ant's foresight in a world of economic instability and rapid change? Scenario A, the financial summer and winter. Imagine you are in a season of career success. Your income is stable, and it's tempting to increase your lifestyle to match your earnings. You want to enjoy the summer. The Wisdom Lab points you to the ant. She prepares her bread in summer. Instead of consuming everything you gather, you build a winter fund. This isn't out of fear, but out of prudence. By counting the cost of potential future emergencies today, you aren't just saving money, you are buying future peace. When the winter of an economic downturn eventually comes, you walk securely while the simple are overwhelmed by panic. Scenario B, the visionary builder. Imagine you have a dream to start a new project, a business, or a major life change. You are full of passion. The world tells you to. Just leap, and the net will appear. Wisdom suggests you first sit down and count the cost. You create a roadmap. This preparation doesn't kill your passion. It gives your passion a tower to live in. By planning your way while remaining open to how the Lord establishes your steps, you avoid the wreckage of a half-finished dream. Section 4. The Wisdom Paradox. Thorough planning versus letting go of worry. Now let's explore the wisdom paradox. Diligent preparation versus surrendered trust. The paradox is that we must plan as if everything depends on our diligence, yet trust as if everything depends on the divine. The balance point. Responsibility versus attachment. 1. The error of the control freak. This person plans so they don't have to trust. They are obsessed with counting the cost to the point of paralysis. Their peace is fragile because it is tied to the outcome of their plan. They have a plan, but they have no steps established by the Lord because they won't let go of the pen. 2. The error of the presumptuous dreamer. This person thinks trust means no planning. They ignore the ant and expect the divine to fix their lack of preparation. They go on and suffer because they refuse to see the danger. The desirable path, we call this trusting diligence. You work like the ant, preparing your bread in the summer. You sit down like the builder, counting every cost. But once the plan is made, you hand the map over. You do your part with excellence, and then you rest. You realize that your safety doesn't come from the perfection of your plan, but from the one who guides your steps. Section 5. Language Masterclass. The Structure of Wisdom. Let's look at the English of foresight and preparation. A. Count the cost. This is a classic English idiom for thorough assessment. It doesn't just apply to money. You can count the cost of a relationship, a career move, or a habit. Practice saying, before I commit, I must sit down and count the cost. B. The prudent. In English, prudent, adjective, describes someone who acts with or shows care and thought for the future. It is a high-value word in wisdom literature. A prudent person is the opposite of a sluggard or the simple. Circa establishes his steps. To establish verb means to set something on a firm, permanent basis. While our plans are often shifting, the divine establishment of our steps provides the ultimate stability. It means the outcome is made firm. Section 6. Closing. Seal the word. As we finish our 12th session in the Wisdom Lab, I want you to look at your summer. Are you gathering, or are you just consuming? Is there a bud tower you are trying to build without first sitting down to count the cost? Wisdom doesn't ask you to solve all the problems of the next 10 years today. It simply asks you to be like the ant. Do the work that is appropriate for the current season. Plan with a sharp mind, but live with a quiet heart. Remember the words of Proverbs chapter 16, verse 9. The heart of man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps. Do the planning, but trust the stepping. In chapter 13, we will look at the ultimate destination of these steps. We will explore the way of the just and the wicked, and how the small choices we make today eventually lead to two very different ends. If you are ready to plan with wisdom and walk in trust, please like this video and subscribe to NovaLogos Audio English. Let's build a future that stands firm. Until next time, be prudent and walk in peace. Goodbye.